Thanks for tuning into another episode of She Laughs, a podcast dedicated to bringing you honest and transparent viewpoints in this daily faith journey. Now join with me as we listen to T and Kristal discuss the latest.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Kristal.
Hey everybody, it's Tanisha.
Welcome to another episode of She Laughs. So it's been a minute. It's been like, 2 weeks? But we back.
Something like that.
We back with another topic for y'all. So T, as always, we're going to delve right in. What are we discussing today?
Today we are talking about tattoos.
Some of y'all.
I mean, it's still an issue for some now. And I understand. There's no judgment. I get it. But it is an issue for some people. So, that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, let's dive on in. So, me personally, I have tattoos. It's shameful to believe, I guess. For some of y'all, not for me. Plan on getting more. But my tattoos actually, for me, they actually mean something for me.
I hope they would mean something for everybody. Most people, they mean something for them. I think the question is, what does it mean to you? And what is its relevancy? So, for those of you who don't know, who are Christian, tattooing yourself is one of the, I guess, laws. I'd rather say that than say sin. Yes. It is one of the laws that is listed in Leviticus. And actually, it's Leviticus chapter 19, and it's verse 28. It says, "Do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourselves. I am the Lord." So, it's one of those 600 numbers of laws.
Many.
Yes, it's basically in the book of the Bible. And then I know I would encourage any Christian to read them, because these are things that you should know. But if you're going to read the book of Leviticus, and all of the laws that are listed there, you need to understand the relevancy of them, why they were necessary at that time. And I guess then the question would be, are they all relevant now in 2019? And that is the debate. I'm not at all going to say no, but I'm not going to immediately say yes either. I would say, unfortunately, it's a yes and no. Mm-hmm. And it kind of really just depends on your conviction, and then your understanding of why they were there. And a lot of people forget that the whole purpose of all of those laws was to keep us out of the wrath of God. It's basically to appease his wrath. That was the only way to do that. In other words, that was the only way to stay clean, to stay righteous, to be in withstanding and in good alignment and position with God, was to follow all of these laws. Because if you read them, which again, I suggest any Christian to do so, read them so that you know your knowledge and your history, because it's part of history as well. It's a lot of them. Yes. It's a lot of them. Down to not eating certain meats. Don't eat meat that has blood in it. What to do and what not to do with your hair. What to do and what not to do with your clothes. Even down to some topics we've talked about. Mediums and psychics and things like that. That's listed in there as well, that you should not seek them out. Mm-hmm. The issue that God was having with his people was idolatry. So this verse in particular really is speaking about idolatry. During that time, what they were doing was they were marking their bodies in reverence to the dead, to show some sense of hierarchy or loyalty to those who died before them. And The problem was not that they were remembering these dead people, was they were worshiping those gods that were associated with the dead by doing so. So that was the issue. Idolatry. Not the marking of the body itself. And that is where context is important when you are reading anything, but especially when you're reading scripture. I always tell people, stop just focusing on one scripture. You need to read the one before that and the one after that, preferably the whole chapter, so you can understand the context of who is the author, who are they speaking to, and what is going on in that time as for them to be speaking, because that helps you to really understand and dissect what it is that you are reading. So they had a big idolatry issue. So again, is tattooing or the law of not tattooing relevant in 2019? Yes and no.
I agree with that, and the yes and no, and that you have to once again understand what is the purpose of you getting the tattoo.
Yes.
For instance, right now I have 2. I said I plan on getting more, which I do. But of these 2, one of them I actually want to get kind of drawn over.
Mm-hmm.
So one is a kind of memorial to my younger brother. Not to worship him, but it's kind of like for me to look down and remember who he was for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that is. But it's not like when we say worship, they were like praying
Yes.
to these people. Lord, big sis, big so-and-so, help me do this, help me, and everything.
I'm going to throw a slight shade to my people, to my black people. It's what we do when we say to the ancestors.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm sorry. Some of us be saying that you're praying to the ancestors.
To help me.
Yes. That is... It's idolatry. Now, if you are not Christian, it does not apply to you. But if you are, and you consider yourself a follower of Christ, why are you praying to your ancestors?
Because they can't get you in or out of hell or heaven.
So, this is basically what they were doing back then. They were praying to the ancestors and the gods associated with, again, death.
Yes. That's why. So once again, that goes back to context, and that's what you have to understand with the Bible. I'm just going to let it out of the bag. Coming soon, T and I will be talking about context for another time, because it is so relevant in talking.
Keep talking, girl.
Sorry, she over here trying to direct me, guys, and done got me all discombobulated. I can't do 2 things at once. She knows this. But anyway, what was I saying, Jesus? See, I done forgot it.
What are we going to talk about next?
Oh, we're going to be talking about context. Because when you're talking about the Bible, because it is such a widely discussed and people have so many different views on it, you have to be very, very mindful of context. And this, like we're talking about today, really deals with the context of it, because some people will look at it and be like, you're not supposed to put any markings on your body, period.
Yes.
And I'm like, doesn't really say that. He says, don't cut it for the dead.
It says specifically, do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourselves.
And it's talking about a time in when you know for certain they're worshiping. So are you worshiping this person or thing that you're putting on you? Like Christians, when I see Christians put the ankh on them, I'm like, why are you putting that on yourself? Do you know what that represents?
Yes. And then I would ask them, since you know what it represents, why are you making a marking on your body about it?
Yes. Like,
is this what you follow? Do you believe in that?
Because you're pretty much marking yourself and now saying, I am a believer. Whether you have said it out of your mouth, the marking and now lets people know, I believe in this when they see it.
Yes.
So that's also, you're sending mixed signals. So you have to be very cognizant of the fact of what signal and what message am I sending and stuff. Like I said, when people come and ask me if they see my markings, what do they represent? I can let them know specifically, this is what this is. No, it's not a sign of worship. It's a sign of honor for me, and that's all it is. But to other people, I would just ask the question, what is your intent behind it? Is the biggest question.
Yes, always. I have tattoos as well. I have 5. Yeah, I have 5. I plan on getting just 2 more. One is going to be related to my mother who has passed. And then the other one is going to be something Christian based, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. I have some drawings picked out. The rest of them, I have something from my father who's alive, just based on our relationship. And then the rest of them are just me. Reflections or representations of who I am and my growth. So, again, like Kristal said, it's basically what I consider would be your personal conviction. If you feel convicted about getting it, don't. But do not try to condemn and convict others. I would say have a conversation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? With them about what it is they're getting and why they're getting. I would say always have a conversation, especially with yourself, before, even if you are considering, why am I getting this? What is its relevance? And does it go against any biblical standings that I have?
Yes.
So, and if you feel comfortable and it's a no to all of that, then go ahead. I don't see a problem. And again, if you feel convicted not to, don't.
I would say for me, tattoos goes along the same lines as jewelry. The Bible also says don't wear jewelry.
Yes, it sure does.
And things on your body. And I wear jewelry as well. Here's the thing. Back then, jewelry signified a certain thing, especially certain places that you wore it.
Yes.
Also, you have to make sure anything in your life can become an idol, not just the things that are listed in the Bible. TV can become an idol. Facebook can become an idol. Instagram, social media, clothes, anything you make that you lust after can become an idol. So the main question that I always ask myself is, if God told me today to let it go, would I say yes or would I have an issue with it? That's usually my main question I ask myself when I'm determining, is this something that I really don't need to be doing? And if I can literally look in the mirror and say, yeah, it's no problem. Like, I'm just doing this because I like how it looks and nothing else. It's not out of worship or anything where I feel like I'm convicted, like I need to have this in my life.
Yes.
Then for me, it's okay. That's my personal belief system there. So that's how I felt with tattoos. If God was to come down today and literally sit beside me and in our private time say, Kristal, I don't want you to get any more tattoos. For me, it would be a simple, oh, okay, cool.
Exactly. Really. It would be no problem. And there's nothing wrong with thinking it along that terms. That's what I say. If you have a personal conviction to not to, then don't. But for those who like to bash the book of Leviticus over everyone's head, I would definitely say you're a hypocrite. I'm going to say it. Because
Relax.
Leviticus, no, you are a hypocrite.
Need to relax.
Because Leviticus also says that you cannot wear clothing that's been woven with 2 different types of fabric.
It sure does.
And most of us wear poly blend every day.
It also says you can't wear pants, ladies.
So again,
men's clothing.
If you're going to hold one scripture to me, make sure you're holding them all to yourself as well. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And you're not, again, like I said, right now, check the label on your t-shirts and your underwears.
Because you ain't got 100%.
You're wearing a blend. Blend means many.
But also, on the flip side of that, if you are a Christian and you have tattoos and you're like, oh, okay, this might not apply to me, think again, because if you're one of those, I've heard it and I'm like, why? What? And they're like, I'm fiending for some ink. I just gotta have some ink again and everything. I would actually be a little considerate of that. What? Do you have to, or do you want
to? There's a difference.
And everything. So be mindful also of what you say, because there's some people that really are addicted to getting ink and tatted on their body, and then that's when I say a problem. You have an issue there. Because it should never be to the point where I'm addicted to, I just gotta feel the needle. Negative, sir, ma'am.
And then that's where you say your thought of, if God right now told me not to get any more, would I have a problem? Because some people be like, well, I don't understand why he would. That's not the point. If he told you, daughter, son, don't get any more, would it be an issue with you? And then if it's an issue with you, then you, sir, ma'am, have a heart issue.
Yes.
And I wouldn't get any tattoos at all.
Yeah. I would be done. I would be done.
Because it's a deeper thing going on.
Than that. That's just I say it all the time. That's just the surface level of a deeper issue.
It's just a symptom of a problem.
So, that's my thoughts on it.
That's my thoughts on it as well. You guys just take it in consideration. Consider the why, and consider any personal convictions you may have. Otherwise, be safe getting inked up.
Yeah. Make sure you watch when you know. Okay? Anywho, T, where can they find you?
You guys can find me Facebook, Tanisha Williams, and Instagram is Styles by Tanisha J.
And as always, guys, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Charmaine Kears. You can also go to the blog site, charmainesconfessions.com. New blog posts coming soon. I've been having some ideas and thoughts in my mind, and I think it's time to get them out. So be on the lookout for that. Until next time, if you're wanting to donate to this ministry, T, where can they donate?
We have a PayPal account. So it's paypal.me/She Laughs Podcast. Again, paypal.me/She Laughs Podcast.
As always, guys, stay blessed, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you guys later.
Thanks again for listening. As always, we hope that you were blessed by today's discussion. To keep up with the latest on the She Laughs podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Spreaker. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at She Laughs Podcast. If you would like to donate to this ministry, please feel free to send all donations to paypal.me/She Laughs. And don't forget to send us your questions. As always, we love to hear from you. Until next time, stay blessed.